guarantee would even fox the brain of Britain. See if you've any idea what this is. I'll give you a clue. Until this week, it's spent the last 81 years 48 metres high in the sky in deepest Suffolk. Now, it's made of wood, and on this side, you can see that it's been fixed onto something. If I tell you that it's a button, you'd probably think I've gone crazy, but it's absolutely true. This is one of the wooden buttons that used to be put on top of the masts of sailing ships in the olden days. And this particular button was fixed at the very top of a mast belonging to HMS Ganges, a Royal Navy training school. The school was closed in 1976, but the mast remained. And now it's going to be the centrepiece of a new housing development. It needs a good clean-up, though, as you can see, so it's been taken down, which is why I'm holding the button. And this really makes my knees knock. I shake just to look at this. Just think that in the days of the training school, a boy had to stand on top of it after he'd climbed all the way up the mast to the very top, with the other 15-year-olds in his group balanced on the rigging. Can you imagine that? Well, 21 years ago, Blue Peter presenter John Noakes did the climbing when he joined the cadets, and he actually became the button boy.
This is the mast of HMS Ganges, but it's not on board a ship, it's on dry land, because HMS Ganges is a training ship at Shotley in Suffolk. Every year, 1,000 boys come here straight from school to start their life in the Royal Navy. Each year, the boys put on a display called Mast Manning, involving 81 boys climbing up the mast, and one boy, called the button boy, climbs right up to the very top.
Well, today I've been invited to be the button boy, and I said I'd have a go. And as you can see, I'm fully dressed for the occasion. Well, usually the button boy is the first one up the rig, so I better go join Robert Sweek, who's the normal button boy on HMS Ganges. Hello, Robert.
Hello.
Do you think I'll make it?
I think so.
I hope so. Well, where does the button boy usually start?
Oh, it's 6 runs up.
Is it? Well, we've got the Royal Marine Band with us today to help us on our way with some stirring music, so, Robert, we better get 6 rungs up.
Looking up, the top of the mast, called the button, seemed miles away. The first 6 rungs were climbed in silence until we were ready for the band to strike up. Although we were already 30 feet from the ground, half the boys who were going to climb up the rigging hadn't even started. The music changed to another tune, I could see ahead that we were approaching a difficult part of the climb. Getting onto the first platform was going to be a problem because of the overhang.
That's a bit dodgy, wasn't it?
That platform was where my troubles first started. Robert was 1 rung ahead by the time I got round it. I had to struggle to catch Robert up. I knew I couldn't stop because the rest of the mast manners were breathing on my heels. We were getting higher and higher, and the mast was gradually filling up with boys, although I'm sure the ones at the bottom weren't feeling half as tired as I was. Now a pattern was beginning to appear on the mast as some of the boys stepped out onto the yardarm.
I'm out of breath. Oh, I got no breath left.
By this time, I was approaching the second platform, which is called the Half Moon.
I think you need an oxygen mask.
Now I go down there, don't I? I hope I haven't held everybody up, have I?
Because I was going to shin up to the top of the mast, I had to go first up this final ladder. Robert, the normal button boy, followed behind me.
Oh, I'm nearly at the top of this ladder. And then comes a very dodgy bit.
This was because there were only 6 steps left on the ladder, and then I got to stand on the crosspiece with nothing but the mast to hold on to.
I'm out of breath. And this thing is wobbling up here.
Now I was within 15 feet of the top. All that was left was the shinning up the mast.
I don't think I'm going to do very much.
I just couldn't manage it. My legs were feeling like lead. I decided that this was the moment to give way to the expert. Even so, my troubles weren't over. Changing places on a rope ladder 127 feet from the ground has its dicier moments.
It looks as though I'm getting out of breath to speak. It looks as though the button has finally beaten Noakes.
But it wasn't going to beat Robert. He made it look so effortless, and it took him no time at all to shin up the mast. But the hardest part of all was still to come. When Robert got to the top, he would have to swing himself round so that he could actually sit on the button. One quick flick and he was there, sitting 143 feet above the parade ground.
At sunsets on all Navy ships, the white ensign is lowered, and HMS Ganges is no exception. And now it's time to come down, and it's all done to music. Suddenly, I feel awfully alone up here.
They don't make films like that anymore, thank goodness.
My heart went then.
Can you imagine me up there?
No.
Well, listen, I'm glad the mast and the button are being saved, but it's 15 years now since the very last button boy ceremony took place, so unless they look at our film, no one will ever see that extraordinary sight again.
But here's a member of the HMS Ganges 1948 class, Dickie Doyle of Birmingham. Well, Dickie, what was it like climbing up the rigging? To sit on top of this thing?
Oh, it was very exhilarating and quite exciting. Some boys fell off. At least one was killed falling off.
Sure.
Another
Really?
was seriously injured. But it mostly taught you to hang on and look after yourself.
Well, was anybody forced to be a button boy?
Not to be a button boy. That was purely voluntary.
Oh.
Everybody was forced to go to the Half Moon, but nobody was forced to go to the button.
Mm. So what are the training?
It was very rigorous. It was like that all the way through.
Lots of those things.
You ran everywhere. It was very strict, very severe, and you did exactly as you were told. And
So it must be nice to know that the mast is staying at home then.
oh, that's great. Yes, it'll be the focal point of our association, where we're trying to contact every member who ever served at Ganges in any capacity.
Well, I hope you get lots of members, Dick. Thank you for coming in. And now, after that spine-tingling experience, how about relaxing in exotic Southeast Asia on the island of Java with dancers and a traditional gamelan orchestra?